Simple one here, a mixed operations problem with multiplication. We've got multiplication, addition, subtraction. It's 5 plus 5 times 5 plus 5 minus 5 equals what? See, a lot of people are getting 50 on this because they're adding 5 plus 5, then multiplying. That is incorrect. Multiplication and division have equal precedence, and they're solved left to right. Addition and subtraction have equal precedence. Addition and subtraction, basically, they're interchangeable. You can add first, you can subtract first. So, very easy. In this case, you would do the multiplication first. 5 times 5 is 25. And then it's 5 plus 25 plus 5 minus 5 equals 30. I know a lot of people out there are thinking you go 5 plus 5 and get 10, multiply by 5 and get 50. And then they're saying, well, the plus 5 and minus 5 cancel out, so you're left with just 50. And that's not true. I know some people think that that this is only true if you have algebra. Some people think it's only true that you follow the order of operations if you have parentheses. That's not true either. It's parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication or division left to right. If you don't have parentheses or exponents, you move on to the next thing. And here's a great little chart here that basically shows the comparison, because a lot of people are also getting confused over PEMDAS and BODMAS, GEMS. I've never heard of BOPS personally, but a lot of people argue over all these things, and they say, oh, well, BODMAS gives you a different answer than PEMDAS, and so on, which is false. They're all the same. They just are different acronyms that describe the very same 4 steps. And again, I'll repeat that. There's 6 letters in the acronyms, but every acronym is describing 4 steps. The first step, and let me zoom in here a little bit, simplify inside of your parentheses or brackets. This priority does not apply to numbers outside of the grouping symbols either. Now, this problem that we're looking at does not involve implicit multiplication, but that's a whole nother argument. The second step would be your exponents, also known as orders, powers, indices, roots. Could also be factorials, anything basically that is a shorthand for repeated multiplication. Your third step in blue is multiply and or divide. Multiplication and division have equal precedence. You solve them left to right. So it doesn't matter. PEMDAS is MD, BODMAS is DM. A lot of people say, well, depending on whether you're using PEMDAS or BODMAS, you do multiplication first and then division, or division then multiplication. That's completely false. They have equal priority. I realize how the acronyms are written, but it does not mean you do one before the other. They have equal precedence. You just go left to right. Finally, it's add and subtract, and or subtract left to right. I even know people that will try to claim that addition is solved before subtraction, which means they end up not being able to add and subtract correctly when they're mixed. They have equal priority. Subtraction is the same thing as adding a negative number. So even in all these acronyms, they're all the same. I know PEMDAS and BODMAS have AS. GEMS, I guess, just lists S. But even with that, it's still referring to addition and subtraction. There's 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other thing is, if you're missing a step, you don't just throw out the whole order. You keep going. Nobody was taught to blindly solve left to right. People will argue that their calculator tells them the answer is 50. And what they're basically claiming there is that they really don't understand how to use their calculator. Cheap dollar store calculators, even the Windows standard mode calculator on a Windows computer, they all work in what's called immediate execution mode. They solve operations immediately. So unless you're doing the multiplication in this problem first on that type of a calculator, or you're putting parentheses around things, which a lot of these simple calculators do not even have the parentheses, it's not going to solve it correctly. Those calculators are not using what is called expression mode. It does not mean that your answer is correct. It means that you do not understand how to use your simple calculator. Those are very, very simple calculators, not meant to solve a long expression like this. And I'm going to show you on your cell phone calculator that you will get the correct answer. And of course it equals 30, because your cell phone calculator and scientific calculators and any calculator that has an internal stack chain will solve these problems correctly because they do understand the order of operations. So anybody who got 50 on their calculator is reinforcing an incorrect answer because they do not understand how to use the calculator that they have.